What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, in today's video, we are going over Solana as it's seen a move of about 40% over the last couple days, and with many of you asking me what is happening with the price, I want to give you an update of exactly what I'm thinking. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into today's video. Now, looking at Solana here, we can see that the price has been doing pretty damn good over the last 4 days. Looking at bottom to top, from about $8 to our current positioning, we are seeing a move of about 40% just in about 4 to 5 days here. And because of that, again, there's a lot of speculation of what happens next. Well, before we can talk about what happens next, let's talk about how did we get here. Well, if we do go ahead and we just kind of look at this thing from a perspective of where we were a couple days ago, you can see that what we thought was going to happen is exactly what happened. We had been tracking this macro Fibonacci move from our swing low to our swing high for quite a while, and I told you guys, hey, if we lose this 1233 to this, roughly $11-ish level right here, that 618786 loss is probably going to send us to an extension down towards what I expected to be $9. I said if we lost this $10 level, expect to push towards $9, in which I thought we were going to try to bottom out somewhere around here. Well, we did see an even further extension past the 1.618 all the way down to a 2 Fibonacci extension, which was a push towards $8 before coming back up, holding support on our estimate at 1.618, and now we're looking to see a bounce towards the top side. I told you guys that a loss of this level would indicate a decent shorting opportunity, and if you did short anywhere after we did lose this level, I mean, you were probably up anywhere from 15 to 20%. But I did say that, of course, be very careful with short trades because at any given point, this thing could bounce, 30 to 50% back to the top side. And that is also how this played out. So we've kind of been on top of the Solana thing recently. So let's continue that on and see what we're seeing now. So looking at it now, we can see exactly what's happening. What's happening right now is nothing more, in my opinion, nothing more than a simple retracement, okay? What happens oftentimes is that whenever the price of something starts to fall and fall and fall and fall, obviously it's going to see these retracements back to the top side to first and foremost liquidate all the short traders that are just shorting this thing like crazy right here, but then to also give people hope. So they start buying and they start buying and they start buying before next thing you know, it starts to continue back to the downside and the whales can start to money grab you as they do crash this thing. That's just how this works, okay? It's a very, very brutal game, but it's the truth of this game. Now, there are some times though that obviously it's not just a big bear market rally, but we're actually seeing a bullish reversal in which we are going to see some moves back towards the top side. So let's talk today about how I'm trying to identify which one of these this is and then how I would be going about it. Well, first and foremost, I always look for structure. Structure is a big indicator for me because it tells me what the general outlook of this move is. Currently speaking, we have some pretty strong structure. Structurally wise, we are looking at a bit of a descending wedge. Now, typically, from what I've noticed, especially with Solana, is that descending wedges will break to the upside. That doesn't always happen, and obviously there are times where it doesn't happen, but more often than usual, it does happen. More often than usual, we'll see something like this. We'll see a bit of a sideways movement, maybe even come back down, go sideways into it, then boom, a breakout of the upside from this descending wedge. That's not what would excite me though. What we need to see is that even if we do see a breakout to the top side of this wedge, that we're capable of breaking the most recent high within the wedge. Once you're capable of doing that, that is your sign that this might be a bullish reversal. What we would need to see in this current example is not only a breakout to the top side of this wedge, but a breaking of $14.60, which is the previous high that we put in the wedge. Because what happens sometimes is that we'll get a breakout of the wedge, people get all excited a little bit too quick, we run into resistance right at that previous high, and then we continue our crash to the downside. Let me give you some proof. What we can see on a shorter time frame is if we go back to the 4-hour charts, let's look at exactly how this move played out. You can see here that we were within a bit of a descending wedge. We got the breakout of the wedge. We came back to the macro high. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We came back to the macro high right here. Boom. We ran into that same level of resistance. We couldn't clear it, couldn't clear it, couldn't clear it. And then what do you know? Boom, capitulation to the downside. We don't want to see that play out again, especially on the bigger time frames here. Because in this example, if we were to see something of that nature, right, I mean, that could look like capitulation, which does put us somewhere in the ballpark of, $5, $6, and obviously no one wants to see that unless you're, of course, a Solana bear. So because of that, at this given point, I'm paying very close attention to all of my warning signs of, first and foremost, when a breakout might happen, and then from that breakout, when maybe we run into resistance that shows that a capitulation is going to happen. The only thing that I'm seeing right now is that our daily RSI is actually not overrunning itself right now, which is a good sign, right? We're here on the daily RSI. We did get a push to the below 30 level. That was a decent time that we're going to usually get a bit of a bounce. We actually seem to be putting in what, looks like a bit of a double bottom here on the RSI, which is, historically bullish. And because of that, we could be in a decent position to get a breakout here. Now, it doesn't have to be now. Obviously, we are seeing a bit of a pullback, and the shorter time frames are extended a little bit too much, right? So it wouldn't shock me whatsoever if we do see these maybe start to show us some bearish divergence. This starts to slowly go up, and then we capitulate, pull back, set a lower high, and then, or a higher low, and then start to make that move to the top side. But in the grand scheme of things, it does seem as if a breakout of this descending wedge is going to happen. But remember, we can't get too caught up in thinking that that is the immediate, the end of this crash for Solana, and that we're about to see some growth to the top side. We need to see this breakout. We need to see the clearing of this $14 to, let's make it easy, call it $15. We need to see this $15 level broken, and if we're capable of doing that, then we may be in position to run towards 21 to 22, right? Maybe we're in position to see 20-30% in gains from there, but until that happens, I wouldn't be expecting it. Okay, so with that said, that's kind of my update here, right? In the grand scheme of things, in the short term, we very well might see a little bit of a push to the upside here, but we cannot get too ahead of ourselves. We need to see that clearing of $15 first. That is the real true identifier of if we're going to be capable of seeing a run maybe towards $20 to $21 over the next couple weeks, or possibly the next few months. Solana has taken quite the beating, but they are still trying their best to work on development in the background, and they do have an uphill battle. But I will continue to, let you guys know what all is going on throughout that uphill battle. And if you do enjoy these quick updates, let me know simply by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. With that said, that's going to be about it for today's quick update, and I will see you all next time. Peace.